Hello, this time my team and I will talk about the Day of the Dead and Halloween. The celebration of the Day of the Dead is a mixture of a mystical devotion where the religions and the pagan fear and mockery are combined. Songs are animated to death. We ridiculed it in cartoons and schools, and we devoured their living in the form of candy or bread. Let's enjoy these Mexican traditions. The celebration of Halloween has been integrated into on culture, almost displacing the ancestral rites of the Day of the Dead. However, fear of spook now were of when this set of activities that took place of the macabre night of October 21 comes from. Jones learned a little more about there's Longhawaites traditions in Mani.
What is the Day of the Dead? The Day of the Dead is a festival that takes place in different regions of Mexico. In it, people celebrate the temporary return of their deceased relatives and loved ones. In these rituals, death is a symbol of life that is materialized on altar by people who present themselves to their deceased. That the divine the multicultural and multi-ethnic character of the country. This festival is given rise to diverse popular expressions transmitted from generation to generation and to age. Over time, different meanings and evocats have been added according to the indigenous people community or group that carried them out, in the countryside or in the city. When is the Day of the Dead celebrated? This tribute takes place between the end of October and the first day of November, although November 1 is popularly associated with commemorating deceased children and November 2 with adults. Sign when is the Day of the Dead commemorated? The origin of this celebration dates back to pre-Hispanic times, when some indigenous people of Mexico commemorated the dead. Later, with Spanish colonization, these homesteads joined the calendar of Catholic religious rituals. Like we said, the Day of the Dead is also considered a celebration of memory, a ritual of privilege remember over oblivion.
The origin in the color in written were unusual and commonly are represent very early grief, and the sacred act enduring and profound popular tradition and symbols of for sacred devotion and profound practice. The other day on deck is sharing what the day's breads of fruits, current additions, water, and their adults, wine. Already made close to everyday dialogue with their memory, with the life, the over and renewed white and written and some memory. The Elfin Day and did that and culture mixer were Europeans wood and flowers, wax, candles and candles. The Indians people on things wish couple on the food and the special flower.
The Day of the Dead is not a day of mourning, but of joy. At its core, the day recognizes death as part of the human experience. It seeks to honor the lives of the deceased so that they set aside a day and wake up from their eternal sleep to share food, drinks, and celebrations with their families. The day includes a series of important traditions. Some of the traditions that are celebrated are to mount offerings, to decorate with skulls, and to prepare dead bread. Offerings. One of the most fundamental elements of the Day of the Dead is the altar or the traditional offering to celebrate the deceased. It is also intended to make the deceased feel comfortable in the midst of living begins during this annual ritual. These altars are traditionally created inside homes, on tombs, in cemeteries, and more recently, in public space and museums in Mexico and the United States. When setting up the altar for deceased, some people set up an offering that includes food and another favorite personal items of the deceased along with their photographic portraits. Having these items allows loved ones to feel rejuvenated after their long journey. Offerings also include copal, or traditional incense dating back to pre-Hispanic religious ceremonies in Mexico. Cempasúchil flower or calendula. Sometimes other types of flowers are used. Religious objects such as a crucifix or an image of the Virgin of Guadalupe. The four elements of nature: earth, wind, water, and fire, in various forms, but often include a clay pot of cooking, a pot hearth, and candles fire. The offerings tell you a lot about the missing family members and what they enjoyed during their stay on Earth. Skulls. Skulls can be seen everywhere during the Day of the Dead, from sugar edibles to papier mache creations to decorate house and altars. Some skulls have the names of the deceased loved ones written on their foreheads to remind them the meaning of the skull and skeleton of on this day is to honor the continuing nature of life, to love joyfully at it, and accept it as a part of our everyday existence. That breath, the breath of the dead, is an important element of the offering and is much loved and enjoyed during this holiday. The round shape of the loaf represents the human body, while the long shapes placed on top of the loaf represent the human body, and the round knot in the center represents the skull. There are different varieties of bread of the teeth. Some are made with anise, others with orange extract and zest, others are covered with sesame seeds, and others with sugar. Legend has it that the bread dates back to pre-Hispanic times and might have taken the place of the human sacrifice originally required by the Aztecs to honor the holiday. Today, the mixture of Paris, scarce jokes, and candy is far from the ancient origins of Halloween. For centuries, the mysterious night has undergone many changes derived from the mixture of traditions and cultures of Western countries, which make Halloween a very special celebration full of traditions that have been transformed as a result of its history. We take a tour over the years to look for the origins of this spooky holiday. The origin of Halloween can be traced back to more than 3,000 years ago when Celts in Europe celebrated their New Year called Samhain. Today we are talking about November 1st, on the eve of this Gaelic harvest festival. We know that on Halloween people believe that the soul walks on the earth with the other creatures, such of fairies and demons. This ceremony will help bring Fahrenheit to the sun god Lugh and welcome the short and cold nights brought by autumn. In addition to sacrificing animals to the gods and gathering around the campfire. The cells also wore costumes to confuse their souls or pair pants or to prevent them from owning them. People also believed that in the celebration they wear black mask or face, which are the avatars of the dead. Many cultures allow young people to wear women's clothes and vice versa, thus breaking the established things in socially. In a primitive form of trick or track, people believing that cells disengage themselves as souls and did stupid things door to door in exchange for food and drinks. This practice may have originated from the custom of leaving food and drink at home as a sacrifice to supernatural creatures. With the arrival of Irish immigrants in North America, Halloween began to be celebrated in the United States and become one of the most important festivals. The origin of the word Halloween comes from the variant of All Hallows Eve, which means Halloween. Do you know how the United States celebrates Halloween? Decoration. Streets, schools, workplaces, and universities all wear orange clothes to welcome the festival. Halloween house decoration is very common. In this kind of decoration and imagination is played out on gardens, doors, and windows are decorated with garlands, candles, Halloween, pumpkins, and other typical images such as bats, spider webs, witches, ghosts. Carving pumpkins. It is a tradition to decor house with pumpkins. Carving pumpkins on Halloween it is not only fun, but also considered to scare away evil spirits. Custom. The spirit of Halloween also covers everyone. Although the holiday is especially popular among children, they usually wear various scary costumes to participate in traditional Halloween candy or candy. Trick or treat. One of the most famous traditions of Halloween is trick or treat. Under the premise of trick or treat, disguising children collect candy and sweeties in nearby houses. If the candy falls into their hands, everyone will be happy. Otherwise, it will be their turn to play tricks games. In the United States, it is very common to celebrate Halloween with traditional games such as apple beating games, including eating the fruit, floating in the water, or the rope hanging on the branches with your teeth. Competition. The typical celebration of Halloween is held at a party with costume competition, where the winner of the best costume, whether because we is most terrible or because he is most original, will win the prize. Candy. Americans live such an intense celebration that they make candy and cookies with Halloween as the background shaped like ghost bust pumpkins. Haunted house activities like the famous Haunted House are also very common. Children will have to visit a house that is horribly decorated and survive during the journey. Or library. In some parts of the United States, this activity is typical, including talking a car full of straw until reaching the cornfield. One third you must find your way through is corn without getting lost. In addition, you can also choose a pooping there for later carving. Duration. The Halloween celebration lasts not only to the evening of the 31st, but also to the whole October, including preparing and collecting pumpkins and decorating the houses, rooms, and gardens. At present, Halloween is the second largest commercial holiday in the United States. Americans spend about $6.9 billion on Halloween, most of which is used for candy, clothing, and festivals.
Although death is the central theme for both Halloween and Day of the Dead, Halloween draws attention to the grisly and terrifying nature of death. While the Day of the Dead places a much greater emphasis on celebrating the lives of those who have passed away and in the way of remembering them. On Halloween, Charles said they ate a pumpkin receipt and other fruits that are rehearsed in the season, such as pancake, as well as candy that children receive after going from house to house. While on the Day of the Dead, sugar squares, bread of the dead, and seasonal fruit are the most representative.